Top 10 biggest lies the Queen made the public believe. Number 10, the gagging order. Queen Elizabeth's former dresser, Angela Kelly, has been presented with a new grace and favor home in the north of England after she was forced out of her Windsor Digs-On agreement that she won't reveal any more royal secrets. A source told the Mail that the agreement was essentially a gagging order, preventing Kelly from using the words king and palace for commercial purposes. Kelly was expected to write a third book about her royal role, but the Mail says the agreement may be imping on, if not outright torpedo that. Charles, the paper says, wants to both honor his late mother's wishes by providing Kelly with a home while stopping the leak of any more royal dish. It looks like Queen Elizabeth's former dresser, Angela, has landed herself in a bit of a pickle. After being ousted from her cozy digs at Windsor Castle, she was presented with a new home up north on the condition that she keeps her mouth shut about all things royal. Poor Angela, I can only imagine how tempting it must be to spill some juicy royal secrets about the family, but hey, at least she's got a new place to call home. And let's not forget about the added bonus of having one less mouth to feed at Windsor Castle. Rumor has it that this agreement is essentially a gagging order, preventing her from using words like king and palace for her own financial gain. So I guess we won't be seeing a third book anytime soon. Number 9, distant mother. Being a Queen of England while also being a mom had to have been a tough road to travel, and it's highly likely Queen Elizabeth did her best. But as they say, the proof is in the pudding, and for Elizabeth's children, it seems that pudding was a bit stale. Let's start with King Charles. He famously described his relationship with his mother as being distant, which is British for we barely know each other. Ouch. And to make matters worse, according to sources close to the Queen, she preferred her husband, Prince Philip, over their children. Talk about playing favorites. But it's not just King Charles who felt the chill from his mother. Her daughter, Princess Anne, has said that growing up with the Queen as a mom was a bit of a challenge, and we all know British people are masters at using understatement to describe their true feelings. Even the Queen's youngest son, Prince Edward, has admitted that his mother wasn't exactly the warm and fuzzy type of parent. In an interview, he said, "My parents were far more dedicated to their work than they were to me." Ouch again. So what's a distant mom like? Well, for one thing, it means missing out on important milestones in your children's lives. The Queen famously didn't attend any of her children's births. Instead, she sent someone else to represent her. Talk about being busy. And as for quality time with the kids, it seems that wasn't high on the Queen's priority list either. In fact, King Charles once said he could count on one hand the number of times he and his mother had a one-on-one conversation. That's not exactly the recipe for a close relationship. Number 8, Princess Diana. The top secret revealed by Diana back in '95 when the princess agreed to sit down with BBC's Martin Bashir for an exclusive interview. In the interview, Diana opened up about her marriage to Charles and her experiences with the royal family, and admitted she also had an affair during her marriage. She also revealed that Charles's long affair with Camilla made her feel worthless, but it wasn't just this shocking admission that made the interview a sensation. It was Diana's raw honesty and vulnerability. She broke the mold of being a stoic, composed princess and instead showed her human side, one that struggled with mental health issues and felt trapped in a loveless marriage. The interview was unprecedented for someone of her royal status, where appearances are everything and emotions are to be kept in check. The impact of this interview was far-reaching, causing a media frenzy, sparking conversations about the royal family's treatment of Diana, and it also brought attention to mental health issues and shed light on the pressures faced by those in the public eye. Diana's bravery in speaking her truth ultimately led to changes within the royal family and society as a whole. Today, Diana's legacy lives on as a humanitarian and fashion icon. Her charity work and advocacy for important causes such as landmines and HIV/AIDS continue to inspire others to make a difference. And her iconic style is still emulated by many, proving that she truly was a timeless fashion icon. Number 7, preventing Meghan from visiting the Queen. New details about the drama surrounding who was ultimately with the late Queen for her final hours, and why Meghan Markle's rift with the family meant Kate Middleton had to stay home. According to the Daily Telegraph, Kate reluctantly stayed back as William raced to Balmoral amid news the monarch's health was failing, traveling on a private jet with his uncles Andrew and Edward, along with Edward's wife Sophie. Did Kate really have to stay back? Or was she just avoiding another round of royal drama? We'll never know for sure, but it definitely is not a bad idea. After all, who wants to be stuck in a castle with their sister-in-law when tensions are high? But let's be real, we all know the real reason Kate stayed back. She didn't want to be caught in the middle of another fight between Meghan and the Queen. Can you imagine being stuck in a car with those two driving through the Scottish countryside? And let's not forget the fact that there were already rumors swirling about Meghan and Harry's rocky relationship with the royal family. The last thing Kate needed was to add fuel to the fire by being there in person. Plus, she's got 3 kids at home to take care of. It's not like she could just drop everything and fly off to Scotland at a moment's notice. Number 6, secret room. All historic buildings have their secrets, and Westminster Abbey is no exception. Dating back to 1245, when King Harry III selected it as his burial site, the Abbey has spaces that the royals occupy, but that remains unknown to the masses. One of these has recently been revealed to a select few. There's a hidden room located in the Parliament's Speaker's quarters, which the monarch traditionally sleeps in on the night before their coronation in Westminster. But why is it a secret room? Is it because it holds royal treasures or forbidden knowledge? No. The real reason is much more mundane. It's simply used as extra storage space for cleaning supplies and equipment. Imagine that, the place where kings and queens prepare to take on their reign being filled with mops and buckets. However, despite its lack of grandeur, this secret room has served a vital purpose in the past. During World War II, it was used as an air raid shelter for members of the royal family and government officials. It's not often that a janitorial closet saves lives, but during those tumultuous times, it provided refuge from enemy bombings. And while it may not hold any hidden treasures or mystical secrets that we know of, the room itself has a rich history and adds to the intrigue of Westminster Abbey. It's a reminder that even in the most prestigious places, there are still hidden corners and lesser-known stories waiting to be discovered. Number 5, hiding details about wealth. Far from opening the royal family's wealth, inherited or otherwise, to scrutiny, astonishingly, there appears to be no study of this topic. The Queen successfully lobbied the government to change a draft law in order to conceal her embarrassing private wealth from the public. Hey, don't blame Queenie. We all have those embarrassing moments in our lives that we wanted to keep hidden from the world. However, it was quite ironic that the same queen who demands transparency and honesty from her subjects is not willing to practice what she preaches. And let's not forget about the royal family's tax exemptions and huge expenses on luxurious lifestyles. Well, let's give credit where credit is due. Queen Elizabeth had been reigning for over 68 years and had managed to keep herself out of any major scandal or controversy. That definitely requires some skillful maneuvering and a good PR team. All jokes aside, the issue of transparency in the royal family is not something to be taken lightly. As citizens, we do have the right to know how our taxes are being spent and if there are any conflicts of interest within the monarchy. Number 4, affairs. The late Princess Diana and King Charles had a pretty rocky relationship, and it was never hard to see the lack of chemistry and affection in the couple, sadly enough. Diana was torn after finding out about the long affair Charles was having with Camilla. However, it seems like affairs have been a trend in the royal family for quite some time. Queen Elizabeth's own sister, Princess Margaret, had her fair share of scandalous affairs that shook the monarchy back in the day. But what is it about royalty that seems to attract affairs? Is it the pressure of a loveless marriage, the constant media scrutiny, or maybe it's just the allure of forbidden fruit? We'll never know. Number 3, Charles's relationship problems. We all know the relationship between Diana and Charles was no secret, so when the news about them breaking up finally went public, many people became interested in them as individuals and as a failed marriage. Number 2, Camilla. According to King Charles's biographer who spoke with Newsweek Royal Report podcast, Queen Elizabeth always detested Camilla and only agreed to give her blessing for the royal to be known as Queen Consort because of an unspoken deal behind the scenes. And I wonder what that was. Camilla, who is now Queen Camilla, first met Charles in the 70s, and the two were in and out of relationships ever since. Charles admitted to adultery when his marriage became irrevocably broken down in 1981. And finally, number 1, tax fraud. The family has been exposed numerous times and have been dealing with a number of issues, one of which is tax fraud. The late queen was once exposed for concealing her embarrassing wealth from the public, which may or may not come as a surprise. It was alleged that Queen Elizabeth's private attorney pressed ministers to modify proposed legislation to prevent the public from learning about her shareholdings. Even though the Queen's actual holdings were never made public, we can only assume they were in the hundreds of millions of pounds range. That is all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more juicy royal news, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.